Okay, we are recording.
Cool.
Yay!
I actually get a notification that we're recording.
Yeah, I
That's
see
cool.
a little red dot. Okay.
Oh, good. Okay, so we can start talking about the jigsaw.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. So I will lead us off with the everyone section at the top here.
Good plan.
So that was the Bill of Rights for Girls. And so some things that, like, there were a lot of really good things that they had on that. I really liked that article.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was cute.
Yeah, there were a few things that I think that I would add that are, like, I guess, more current society issues or, like, things that have come up for me more recently.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of in the article, it had a section about dieting, little girls going on diets.
Mm-hmm.
And we talked about this in my health class, actually, is that my health professor was at a school and there were like kindergarten girls talking about going on a diet. Yeah, they were like, oh, I'm so fat, I need to go on a diet. And she's just like, you're 6, calm down, like, you're not.
Yeah, I actually was talking to a group of like second grade boys, which if you ever get a chance to do that, it's really worth it.
I know, they're so fun.
but like they were having like this I wouldn't call it an argument, because what is an argument in second grade?
They're debating.
It's debating. It's really debating. So there was this debate going on about, like, you know, how much you should be working out and like really like you know, building your muscle. I'm like, you're like 7 or 8.
Yeah, you're like 10. What are you doing?
It's just not even, like, they're not even 10, and I'm like you know,
no,
like, do things, but don't
like use weights and stuff. Like, that's for you when you're little and you try to weight lift.
I mean, like, when you're that little, you need to be playing tag outside and, like, making pictures in the dirt with a stick and, like, swinging and making forts. Like, that's what you need to be doing outside.
All at the same time. Like, preferably all at the same time.
Yes. Yes. Okay, so, but anyway, going back, I thought that we should include that fat is not a bad word. And it's not synonymous with unhealthy, just the same way as skinny is not synonymous with healthy. There are plenty of skinny people, or like skinny, like society's version of skinny, that have like way more health issues than somebody who is like medically obese, and they're still like totally healthy. Like, for example, my stepsister is super athletic. She does shot put and discus, and she plays basketball, and she wrestles. She's like 4 times bigger than I am. Like, her thighs are like my torso, and like my little toothpicky twiggy arms, like her arms are like as big as my thighs. And so, like, technically she is, like, her BMI says that she's like overweight, but she is so much more in shape than I am. Like, she could like outdo me in any athletic thing ever. So she's like way more healthy than I am. So
we're going on the opposite side of that is like 115 pounds, like just super little, and she could not do like 1 push-up.
So it's like people have just become like this misconception that if you're skinny then you're healthy, and if you're fat then you're unhealthy, and that's just not true. And your size has 0 bearing on your self-worth or your physical attractiveness. Like, just because you're not a size 6 doesn't mean you can't wear a bikini and all that stuff and whatever. But so that kind of goes with this.
Oh, sorry.
Oh no, that goes with the second thing.
How young, like, that whole thing starts. How young body image starts.
Right. Like, if you're 6, body image, like, trying to look like the people you see on TV, like, how is that a thing? I don't remember me being as concerned about that when I was little.
Until like probably like 5th grade or something.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. Like, why now? Why is that more of an issue? Or at least we see it more now. Because it's not like, I guess I don't think the gender role thing was less of a problem when we were kids, but like it seems like maybe it was. I don't know.
I feel like the media and like the TV shows that they are showing to younger kids have like, they're more mature themes at a younger age than it was Like,
That's true.
like if you think about what they have on the Disney Channel now versus what we watched while we were little and on the Disney Channel, like it's totally different. Like they're talking about boys and dating and like, I don't know, girl drama and like dieting and like having salad and whatever. And like, okay, I would watch like, can't even remember what I would watch, like Lizzie McGuire and, you know, like those silly 90s kid shows. And like, they didn't even talk about that. It was like not even a thing because, I don't know, people weren't talking about it then. But
yeah, I watched Barney and there was songs that they sang and like they didn't have anything to do with like.
And Mr. Rogers.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, he was my most favoriteest ever.
But and the thing is, like, Mr. Rogers was like real, like he dealt with like real life stuff, but it was like not like this weird, like you said, girl drama. I'm gonna use that's a stereotype, but it's like
right. No, that's so true though.
Totally, what's being used though is like this like girl drama thing. Like I had at Happy Valley the other day, I had a little girl come up and be like, "So I was talking to my boyfriend today." She's like in 3rd grade. I was like,
"What? Like, do you even know what boys are?"
I thought they still had cooties at this point.
Yeah, I think they should. They should still have cooties. Oh no! See, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then the other thing. Oh, what? Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, are we ready to move on?
Yes, Jigsaw.
We should
go.
Yeah, it's you.
Okay, so yeah, my chapter was about like the how should we refer to like gay, the like huge acronym, like do we have a shorthand term for referring to like LGBTQI?
That's a good problem.
Yeah, LGBTQI. Yeah.
Okay, well, referring to that literature and how it's important that like kids see themes of like gay themes in literature. And one of her questions was, why do you think that it's important that they see themselves in literature? And I said for the same reason that it's important that any student sees themselves in literature. Like when we talk about multicultural literature, we say that like students need to see their culture represented in books in positive ways. And I think it's the same. I think the gay culture is a culture, and that students need to see their culture or their family's culture represented in a positive light in stories.
Definitely.
In the media, usually gays are not represented in a positive light, so I think it's definitely important that it's a positive thing. And what else did I talk about?
Because I think that what like society's view of like little kids can't see this kind of literature because it'll like turn them gay. I think that's why it's like, I don't know.
I like those quotes. Those were good quotes.
Yeah. But then I think what people need to understand is that like you can't like become gay. Like you are born that way. And so I think it would alleviate a lot of stress and problem for kids who are gay that maybe don't necessarily know what that is. And then when they see it in a book, they're like, oh my gosh, that's me. This is how I'm feeling. And then it's not some scary unknown thing for so long.
And it's like, there's this really cool character in this book that's having the same feelings, and it's okay. And it's normal, you know?
Yeah.
I was wondering if sometime, maybe not immediately right now, but like the difficult discussion about how old, like there's the conversation about, you know, kids, like when can they choose who they are, but then there's like, do they choose? Is it really a choice? And then there's that, but like beyond that, it's like how early of an age, like, do we deal with this, you know, because you see kids say like, I like boys or I like girls or whatever. And like, struggling with that, but then you're like, I don't even know what that means in their brain. And I don't know, what like the story I think I talked about last time about with a little boy that was like, I want to be a girl. And it was really just like, he just wanted to play with what are girl toys. And he really didn't want to be a girl. Like he totally liked being a boy, but like, he just wanted to do that one thing. So
I know that I've seen a lot of like discussions with kids who are pretty young, like just maybe like kindergarten, like they're pretty little, like even younger than kindergarten. And, you know, everybody's different. sometimes kids know right away that they are not supposed to be a girl. Like, they just are definitely a boy, even though they are like gender, they're like they're physically, like physically they are not. But I think that just requires an attentive adult to have a really good discussion with them and just keep bringing it up and keep talking about it. And because if they really do feel that way in their heart, like, they're going to be straight up with you. They're going to be like, this is weird. I should not be a girl. I should definitely be a boy. And they're not going to let that go. That's going to be a thing that they talk about all the time. And they won't want to dress like, I forgot what gender I said. But anyway,
whatever.
Yeah, like, they're going to be very adamant about, wearing what they want.
Yeah, just like in the videos yesterday, both of those girls were very sure that they were girls at a young age and that they were not boys. Like,
yeah.
so sure. Both of them had like no doubt in their minds,
Right.
that that's what they wanted to do. And that was by like age 3, they started like talking about it and stuff. And then age 6 was when that one child was like definitely sure, that she wanted to change.
Yeah, I think it's hard because they can't necessarily articulate very clearly what they're feeling, but they know what they're feeling, and they know it's wrong. Like, if they are not supposed to be a boy and their parents keep on pushing them to be a boy, like, they know that it's wrong and they don't like it.
There's a interesting thing about the and this might, I don't know when this should come up, but like, the issue of like the physically male student saying that they're supposed to be a girl. They go through everything and like everything's cool, but then they want to play like on a girls' soccer team or something, and then there's like, this has actually come up. Like, this has been an issue. I don't know if you guys have ever like heard the news stories about it, but like, there are schools where schools, especially early on, they usually don't have like a co-ed team.
Right.
Not like against having a co-ed team, they just don't. And so they have like a boys soccer team and a girls soccer team, and not one better than the other or anything. But so in this situation, like, the physically male, says their female student wants to play on the girls soccer team, but they're in a tough spot because there's like the argument of the Olympic standards for the bodies. So that's not going to be fair. And even if it's not necessarily not fair. Yeah, go for it.
I'm actually taking a PE class right now, and it's teaching elementary PE.
Mm-hmm.
And in my class, they said that the physical differences between a girl body and a boy body, like, for as far as sports are concerned, there is actually zero physical difference in sports, like aptitude or ability before they hit puberty. So, and even then, like, everything that says that boys and girls should be like able to perform differently physically in sports before the age of puberty is socially constructed. So both boys and girls, when they're young, should be able to play at the same level. Like, their standards for PE and exercise is like the same. And only then after puberty are the BMI standards change and all that. But before puberty, they can be exactly the same.
I think the issue was that it's less like argued about early in elementary school, especially because there's just less of that happening.
Right.
But like, especially like middle school age or like 5th grade kind of area, it's a tough spot to talk about because that's where it's like some kids are and have hit puberty, some kids aren't going to for 3 years, and so there's essentially there's a legal trouble that it's like, how do you create policies or something that protects every student but is also fair, especially with something where it's not like everybody's going through the same thing at the same time, because they're not.
Right. I think that kind of goes back to it being a like a legislative problem, because in all honesty, like if I felt like I really needed to be a boy and the government was going to be like, nope, because physically you are a girl, you cannot be a boy, I would be like, who are you to tell me what gender I can and cannot be? So, I mean,
I think the I guess the argument I was bringing up is more like, you know, when it's not a co-ed situation in like a sports kind of situation, what's fair? Because I don't know, because like they're
super non-competitive, because I'm just like,
I'm super non-competitive also,
like,
but
if they want to play on the team, then like let them play on the team. Like it's not a big deal. But I mean, I don't know.
But
well,
it's like a really big deal to some people, because for example, if I as a male decided like that I don't know what language to use here, but like female, but then I wanted to play on the girls' whatever sports team, and I was like 14, you know, there's statistically, even if like in my case, I'm not necessarily like more like physically advantageous over like the other girls, the like other teams, is that fair? Is that fair to other teams to have someone who statistically, you know, post puberty in whatever sport, you know, has a better chance at being good?
But then you can argue skill level, like just because you have more testosterone and like muscle and whatever doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be better than some girl who.
No, and that's not the issue.
Like,
the issue is that it doesn't necessarily mean that, but the predisposition is in my favor. Like,
I don't know. I would argue you on predisposition. I don't think guys are predispositioned to be better at sports than girls are.
I'm not saying as a whole. I'm just saying there are specific, like it would be instance by instance, and this is why it's a trouble. I'm not necessarily arguing that that's the case, but like, for example, the standards for PE that students have to meet, like, for example, like males have to do like X amount of pull-ups, and that number is higher than that for females, for the reasons, like there are reasons for that, and like
so yeah, there are physical differences between boys and girls. That's just the fact. That's just the way that it is. But I don't know how we should deal with sports because of that.
Exactly. That's kind of what I'm bringing up, is that like there are inherent differences, and it's really muddy because there are many girls that can, you know, like take me out, but but at the same time, like statistically, like the odds are stacked in my favor on a lot of things because I'm male.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Hey guys, I'm really sorry. I'm doing a group discussion right now, so. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's an issue that we're not going to be able to come to a conclusion on.
No, I just wanted it to be brought up because it is one of those difficult parts of the conversation.
Yeah. All right. Who has B?
I have B. So I have the out front section, which was an interesting article. Really showed its age. Oh. Because like it's talking about like a backlash era and like there being like. So, free meeting will end in 10 minutes.
Yeah. Okay, so we have 10 minutes to wrap things up.
Okay.
Talked about the that's interesting. Maybe Joy needs to know about this.
Yeah, we'll let her know for sure.
Yeah, anyway, so the Outfront article was talking about how LGBTQI people need a curriculum that includes their issues and makes them normal. And so there was a lot of talk about that. A lot of the language and the issues brought up are somewhat dated. Not saying that they're not present, but the degree to which they're present is less than the article. That said, there's talking about anti-slur policies and gay teachers being open about it and giving students, necessarily gay role models and all of that. And so essentially it was just a discussion kind of off of what we were talking about. I don't remember if it was in the discussion right before we started recording, but that talking about how if gay and LGBTQI people, I don't like the situation on the language here. If they're actively just part of curriculum, then they're normal. And that's like, that would be a benefit. There's obviously inherent issues with that. Like, how are you overrepresenting, or are you specifically it depends on how you do it. And she's making the argument that every curriculum can include it, and that can get kind of difficult, especially with if it's like a math class and you don't really talk, like some math classes don't talk about any people the whole time, and it's just like math. So it's like, But if you're talking about like great mathematicians, I could see including somebody that's gay, unless that's not like easy to find and it's really not true. Like if the one great gay mathematician wasn't that great, then maybe don't talk about them because they're gay, because they're not a great mathematician. But
well, I mean, you could just have it as simple as a story problem. Be like, Stacy and her moms are going to the grocery store to buy 70 ears of corn. Like, just
exactly.
Just toss it in there like that.
Yeah. Just be careful how much you're shoehorning it, because if it feels like you're shoehorning it, then it's kind of hokey.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway, okay. That was kind of mine.
Nice. So mine was C, and that was the Girls, Worms, and Body Image article. So that was the teacher who really wanted to teach her girls about, and her boys, about stereotypes and gender inequality. And so she tried to have a big discussion with them, and it was kind of, of course, because that's how all teaching moments are.
It really is.
But then she saw them playing with worms, and then that was a better teaching moment, and she was successful in putting the girls in charge. And then magically, they got over their fear of worms when they got the spoon and the cup to go collect worms, which I thought was pretty funny. But I think that article just, touched on all of the stereotypes and gender things that are still around that you wouldn't necessarily pick on if you if you weren't aware of these issues. And then she asked me of my opinions on gender roles and how they affect you, and I was like, wow, I could rant for like 10 years on that.
And that's kind of a lot of a question. Like that's not going to get addressed in any amount of jigsaw response.
Right. So I just said, gender roles affect you in every part of your life, in everything that you do, no matter what, because it's part of society, and we live in society. So there's no way for us to get away from it. We can rebel against it, but it's going to affect us, in the clothes we wear, the ads that pop up on our Facebook feed. You can't get away from it. It affects you. Yeah. And then she wanted to, there's some question about how to critically, what was it? Or what new ways are you thinking critically? And in all honesty, my Tumblr feed, my Tumblr dash is super awesome. And okay, but it's it totally, the blogs that I follow is positive body image and LGBTQI stuff all the time.
Yeah.
So that all shows up all the time. So I see that every day. And so I feel like I'm not seeing things in a different way from the articles necessarily in this week, because I'm already being exposed to those views every day on my just personal stuff. But I'm really grateful that that I can immerse myself in that view and get such a well-rounded view of things from people who are actually experiencing those things. But yeah.
And then I did D this week, and I was kind of confused by the question. It just said how would you assess a website based on these things, but based on the professional readings. But the reading
that was a weird question
about assessing websites, and she didn't give me a certain website she wanted me to assess, and there's a trillion bazillion different websites. Yeah. So I just decided to look at my high school website. Where I don't know, people need to be represented, and there was a couple things I found. There was a Gay Straight Alliance Club, and there was a post about that when I just searched the word gay. I found a Gay Straight Alliance Club, and then also I feel there was something else. Oh, I looked at their mission statement, and their mission statement felt very inclusive of all people. Like if I were a gay person, I would feel like I was included in their mission statement. So I thought that
That's
that was good. But other than that, people weren't like not represented, but people weren't represented, you know. And there wasn't really a lot of pictures of people on the website, so there wasn't a lot of room for for it to be talked about. So I think that I don't know. I don't really know how to assess a website, but it seemed okay to me.
I think you dealt with like a weird question in a good way. Like that was I'm looking at that question right now and I'm going, because what like evaluate a website. I mean, there's a lot there.
That's what I'm saying. I could go to like any Wikipedia page, and it could probably talk about nothing having to do with gays at all. So I don't know.
Well, and like the language, like if you're looking specifically LGBTQI, there's like a whole nother issue of like, is there something bigger going on that's like doesn't even have anything to do with LGBTQI, and like is that a bigger problem than the LGBTQI thing? Like you're kind of like cherry picking stuff off of websites, and if you're really evaluating a website, you have to kind of take it all in and look at it all. So, weird question. Good job.
Thank you. Yeah. But I know we only have a couple minutes left. I just want to throw in one thing because I was really excited about it. I have a transgender friend at my work. And is girl to boy, and he's probably like 23 or so. And so this is something that he's been going through probably his whole entire life. And he just now started hormone replacement therapy, like yesterday.
Wow. Oh, that's so exciting for him.
So excited for him, yeah. And it was so relevant because I was like doing all these readings yesterday and like rooting for these kids, you know. And then I see that like close friends like got to do his therapy, so it was just really cool.
Yeah, and I've at the school I teach at, there's we run into the transgender thing a lot because it's an alternative school. Sometimes it goes well, a lot of times it doesn't go well for their own personal reasons. Actually, we haven't had any problems with like other students being a problem or like parents even. Honestly, we haven't had any parents be a problem. It's been the student like struggling with it, and then like, because, they're human too. So like sometimes they'll be selfish about it and then be like, really victim focused, even though no one's victimizing them in their life. And so
maybe not that you're seeing, but
no, well, that's true. But like there's even a student that we were talking to, and like she came to a point where she was like, no, I like pity. Like she even was like saying that. She's like, I like it when people take pity on me. So it's like not that this is a systemic issue, but just that realize that these are people too. And just like any other student, they have their own things they're dealing with. And so that's what makes their life complicated, is that they have this thing that's socially new, plus they're still 15, and so they're still dealing with 15-year-old things like, I'm scared to talk in front of people, or like, I think everybody's judging me and the whole world's looking at me all the time. And my way of coping with that is pity me, my life is hard. And
I think that we're done with our, I think we're recording.
We're going to get cut off. So I'll leave a note for Joy about why that happened. And
so she needs to know that Zoom
on one of your guys' computers next time or something.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. And I have to go introduce the session. So
yeah, good luck.
Good luck. See you guys later.
Okay.
See you later.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Yeah,
oh yeah, that too.
Bye, guys.
Okay.